So we would say it's really great that he has maintained that enthusiasm all along. As for work and other aspects, it's the same. He can, through things like meditation, or even just by doing things that help him train his perseverance, like swimming, for example, or doing some exercise, or even running, right? These are all activities that help build persistence. This way, he can cultivate that quality in himself. Maintain that kind of enthusiasm for his career. Whether it's towards friends or towards the overall development of the company, he really needs to maintain that enthusiasm, right? Otherwise, what would happen? It's very easy for that enthusiasm to just cool off all of a sudden. On the other hand, we might wonder, hey, why does he seem so indifferent? Why does he seem so lazy? You might get that kind of impression, and then you misunderstand, whoa. Actually, he's not lazy. It's just that particular matter. For him, when it comes to something new, he feels even more passionate. So he moves on to that new thing. As for the old thing, you might feel like he can just completely let it go, right? Many people misunderstand him, thinking he doesn't care about it at all, but that's not the case. It's not that he's completely letting go of that matter. It's just that he feels this new thing excites him more, and he puts more effort into it, that's all. If he could maintain that enthusiasm for everything, then, well, wow, you know. Then people wouldn't so easily get the impression that he's hot and cold, right? Okay. Now, let's take a look at Fafa. That's right, we're talking about you now. Let's type Fafa on the platform. Does there any Fafa here or friends of Fafa? Yes, right? What about Fafa warmth, his loving nature? He really likes to help others, and he also easily gives people the impression that he's very responsible and trustworthy. He really likes to take care of people, and he's willing to sacrifice himself to help others, right? With this kind of personality, he can become a coach or a mentor or even a teacher, right? We say, if there is teaching, there is no worry. As for Fafa, he never feels helpless. What does helpless mean? He doesn't choose. As long as you're willing to learn, he's willing to teach. As long as you're willing to ask, he's willing to answer, right? So, when it comes to work related to compassion, like in the community, or NGOs, or customer service, or talent development, or support roles, these are all great fits. Of course, being a boss with this kind of personality is also quite good, right? Because he will take care of the clients around him, and he also hopes that others can benefit as well. That makes him really happy. So, people with this personality, actually, they are extremely tolerant. Yes, and this can also help them build a very successful career. In terms of mindset, they really like helping others, and they feel that the most meaningful work is that which helps people. So, when young people are looking for jobs, if you know you have this Fafa personality, then you might as well focus more on finding careers where you can help others and start from there. So it's actually simpler for you because the more you do, the happier you become. You'll find that in the process, you're helping others, and naturally, you'll also earn a decent income from it. So why not do it, right? In this way, people with this personality are very caring. Sometimes, as we say, if you love your career, you don't need to worry. People with the Fafa personality are in principle workaholics. Right? So when they get to work, the amount of effort they put in and their persistence are really impressive. I've also noticed that friends with the Fafa personality tend to stick with every job they do for a long time, so they're not the type to give up easily. So, in other words, if a Fafa chooses the wrong industry, they still won't give up easily. They'll just keep sticking with it. That's why it's so important for them to choose the right industry, isn't it? Because they're persistent, right? They don't believe in giving up for no reason. They'll think, let me look into it more. Let me see. There's no reason to give up so easily. So sometimes being a Fafa is like a double-edged sword. If they're persistent in the right thing, it's great, but if they're persistent in the wrong thing, it's not so good. Even after some time has passed, I still remain very persistent. So this is something we really need to pay special attention to. Fafa shouldn't choose the wrong job for themselves. They need to find something where they can truly make use of their abilities, and, ideally, something related to people to love and care. Of course, if we're talking about building a big business or enterprise, it should also be something where you can share your own experiences and knowledge with others. If I can also help others through my work, then that would be the most suitable job for a fafa, right? Isn't it kind of like the color red? That kind of love, you know, like a blazing fire, burning oneself to bring light and warmth to others. Alright, let's take a look at Fafa's connection to this world. Actually, there are some things he still needs to learn or experience. We say that the most important thing is to have contentment. What does it mean to contentment? When you're at contentment, you're not forcing yourself. Sometimes we do force ourselves. It's hard to say no to others. For example, when someone asks, Fafa, can you help me? What's Fafa's usual response? Don't worry. Leave it to me. How do you say that in Mandarin? Wo lai chu li, right? Just a phrase like that. Wo lai chu li, I'll handle it. So, many times, we say this and pat our chest, but Fafa actually gets quite tired, right? If you keep doing this, you end up burning yourself out. And in the end, you exhaust all your energy. Isn't that right? In the end, it's not worth it. Not only can you not help others, but people might even wonder why you didn't do your best to help them. Halfway through, you end up getting sick yourself, right? Because you've already burned yourself out. You have absolutely no energy left. If you ask Fafa, are you tired? Fafa will always tell you, no, I'm not tired. That's the issue, isn't it? Because when Fafa is truly tired and you ask him, are you tired? And he says, I'm really tired. I'm telling you, at that point, Fafa is genuinely exhausted. If he's not really that tired, he'll still tell you, I'm not tired. That's pretty amazing, right? He's always been someone who never complains, never holds any grudges, right? He just quietly perseveres. And often, why does he have this peace of mind? It's because he's like a source of energy for everyone, reminding you all. Sometimes it's like we're out at sea rescuing people. What do you need to do to rescue someone at sea? You have to save yourself first, right? Then you have to assess whether you have the concept of returning. What does that mean? For example, if you can swim 100 meters, then when you swim out to save someone, you should only go out 50 meters at most. After you rescue the person, you still have 50 meters to swim back to shore. Right? If you use up all your energy for that 100 meters to get there, sure, you see the person, but you no longer have the strength to bring them back to shore because your energy was only enough for that 100 meters, right? So we say you have to take care of yourself first, whether it's in terms of health or ability, right? And also in terms of finances, because, well, Fafa, that's really what it means to be truly responsible. Sometimes when you go overboard, not only are you unable to help others, but you might even drag yourself down with them and both of you end up in trouble. That's a real problem, isn't it? So let's remember how important it is to have contentment. When you're at contentment, doesn't everything just come more naturally? That is exactly right. You find yourself naturally helping those around you, which naturally makes you feel much happier while you are at work. And naturally, every single day begins to feel deeply meaningful as you continue to develop and grow your own professional career. Actually, Fafa, you don't need to put so much pressure on yourself right now, because as a Fafa, you are naturally able to handle a lot of stress. But if you keep giving yourself such excessive pressure, that is really quite unnecessary. So, to all of our Fafa friends, please remember to always keep a peaceful and calm mind. Alright. Finally, let's take a look at Momo's friend. That's right, we're talking about you. On the screen, let's try typing Momo. Momo knows how to do everything. He learns quickly, and the things he likes are really diverse. This suits him, that suits him. Everything is okay for him. Opportunities. Everyone likes to give them to Momo. Why is that? Because the feeling Momo gives people is that he can do it. Among so many people standing together, his energy is special to his friends. He's unique. When people with insight, that is, capable people, see this, they'll say, let's leave this task to Momo. Why? Because the impression he gives is that he can get things done and succeed. He can also bring together a network of people. That's right, him. Remember that. Momo was born this way. He's been calm and composed ever since he was a child. He's really calm. When he sits there, he's just steady like that. Do you have a child like Momo around you? If you pay attention, you'll notice they're especially not mischievous. They're quick-witted, very focused and composed. It's like when you look at them, you feel like they have a certain poise. There's a saying, we feel like they have their own ideas, and when you entrust something to them, it seems like they'll be able to accomplish it successfully. You look up to them in that way. They can create even greater value. What's most impressive about them is that after they seize an opportunity, what do they do next? They further expand it, integrate it, and make it even greater. So what kind of work is suitable for Momo? Actually, it's resource integration, as well as strategic partnerships, business collaborations, and figuring out how to invest and integrate resources, platform building, and then various kinds of projects. What does it mean to do projects? Nowadays, there isn't really just one industry, called. You could say that doing things slowly and steadily isn't really suitable. Now, it's more about completing one project after another, and that's actually a great fit for Momo. At the same time, Momo can have many projects going on at once to really shine. Isn't that right? All of you Momo friends, aren't you doing more than just one thing? Aren't you working on many projects at the same time? Tell me on the screen, are you working on different projects right now? Why is that? Because there are so many opportunities, right, Momo? That's why, for every single thing, Momo sees the potential for future development. So what does Momo do? They'll get involved, take it on, or think, hey, this shouldn't go to waste. Maybe it'll be useful in the future. So they'll keep it. And after collecting and taking on things like this, they end up with at least 8 or 10 projects on hand at any given time. That's right. So what happens is, as we said, at the same time, their ability to focus isn't that strong. Let's take a look. It turns out that when Momo came into this world, there was something they needed to collect. What is it? Stay focused. They are very clear about it. In fact, they know this about themselves. They learn things especially quickly, and they are very aware of it. So their energy is also very abundant, and they are not the type to give up easily, let me tell you. At the same time, they can do a lot of things at once, and there are many opportunities, making it easy for them to succeed. The problem arises when they take on even more projects. Sometimes they lose focus. Like which project actually needs more attention. Sometimes, even in terms of work, it's hard for us to determine, for example, which department Momo should be in. Why is that? Because as a boss, you'll notice that when you have an employee like Momo, you'll find that they're capable of doing everything. So, like a jack of all trades, where should Momo actually be? You end up thinking, let him do this, let him do that, and after a while, what happens? In the end, Momo just integrates resources and delegates tasks to others, and eventually, Momo becomes the CEO. Right? And then, what happened to Momo in the end? Let me tell you, he got involved in other projects, then told the boss, hey boss, why don't we collaborate? Eventually, he became a partner, right? Just like that, he became a partner in a company. Isn't that impressive? So you'll notice Momo is really amazing when it comes to development. You really don't need to worry about the kids around you or even yourself.